Commander Vex Corian stared at the holographic display in disbelief, her violet eyes wide with shock. The ancient star chart floated before her, its crystalline surface pulsing with soft blue light. After 3 cycles of painstaking translation, the linguistic team had finally decoded the mysterious artifact recovered from the ruins of Zephyria Prime. "Are you certain about this translation?" she asked Dr. Marcus Reeves, the expedition's chief xenolinguist. The human nodded grimly, his weathered face etched with concern. "Absolutely certain, Commander. The coordinates match perfectly with the galactic database. Sol 3, 3rd planet from a yellow dwarf star. It's real." The bridge fell silent except for the gentle hum of the ship's atmospheric processors. For generations, every species in the Galactic Alliance had grown up hearing whispered tales of the legendary Deathworld, a planet so hostile that it spawned beings capable of surviving anything the universe could throw at them. Children across 1,000 worlds trembled at bedtime stories of creatures that could endure crushing gravity, breathe poison gas, and walk unprotected under deadly radiation from their star. Lieutenant Zara Blackwood, the ship's tactical officer, leaned forward in her chair. "But sir, the stories always said it was just a myth, a cautionary tale about evolution gone wrong." Corian's fingers drummed against the armrest of her command chair. She had heard the same stories as a child on New Geneva. Tales of monsters that could heal from wounds that would kill any civilized being. Creatures that actually thrived in environments that would dissolve Altarian bone and boil Centauri blood. "Commander," interrupted Ensign Torres from the navigation station, his voice barely above a whisper, "there's something else. Long-range sensors are picking up electromagnetic signatures from that system. Artificial ones. The implications hit the bridge crew like a plasma blast. Not only was the mythical Deathworld real, but something was still alive on its surface." Dr. Reeves pulled up additional data from the artifact. According to these records, the inhabitants called themselves humans. The ancient Zephyrians documented first contact approximately 12,000 standard years ago. They described them as, he paused, checking his translation matrix, remarkably adaptable bipeds with an inexplicable tendency toward violence and a disturbing lack of self-preservation instincts. "What happened to the Zephyrians?" Corian asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "The records end abruptly. Their last entry mentions something about underestimating the Deathworlders and a warning never to approach Sol 3 again." The massive exploration vessel Stellar Dawn continued its journey through the void, its crew wrestling with a decision that could change the course of galactic history. The Alliance had been expanding for millennia, encountering hundreds of species, but none that matched the terrifying descriptions of the legendary humans. Chief Engineer Pavel Volkov emerged from the lower decks, his uniform stained with coolant fluid. "Commander, we've got enough fuel to make the jump to the Sol system, but barely enough to return if things go badly." Corian stood and moved to the main viewport, gazing out at the stars. Somewhere out there, on a small blue-green world orbiting an unremarkable star, lived the descendants of creatures that had become the boogeyman of galactic civilization. "They're probably long extinct," she murmured to herself. 12,000 years is a long time. But even as she spoke the words, she didn't believe them. According to every story, every legend, every whispered tale, humans didn't die easily. They adapted. They survived. They thrived in conditions that would annihilate lesser beings. "Commander," Blackwood said quietly, "what are your orders?" Corian turned back to her crew, seeing her own mixture of fear and curiosity reflected in their faces. They were explorers, scientists, diplomats, the best the Alliance had to offer. But were they prepared to make contact with a species that had inspired nightmares across the galaxy? "Set course for Sol 3, she ordered finally. "It's time we learned whether the monsters are real." The Stellar Dawn adjusted its heading, carrying its crew toward a rendezvous with legend itself.